What's going on, Dividend Chasers? It's the Dividend Bloodhound here with another investing video. In this episode we are going to talk about airlines and should you buy them or not. Now inherently you will have seen in the news just how much airlines have tanked, or airline stocks should I say have tanked at the moment, with the massive reduction in foreign and domestic, it has to be said, travel. These airlines have got so much capacity that isn't being used. There are aircraft parked up on runways, nose to nose, tail to tail, wing to wing, just not being used at the moment, and they are making staff take unpaid leave, laying staff off, or any other purpose that are not using their aircraft at the moment. So many staff have been told to stay at home. So with that being said, is now usually when stocks are like this, we know airlines are probably going to recover once we come out the other side of the crisis that we've got at the moment, but will there be any casualties on the way there? Now in this video we're going to talk about 4 airlines that I've sort of handpicked, 2 from the US, 1 from Europe, and one from the European Union, should I say, or the European Economic Area, and then 1 from the UK. So in the UK we have IAG, which owns British Airways and Aer Lingus and Iberia. In the EU we have Dutch Lufthansa, which is a company I actually own a couple of shares in myself. Yes, they are massively tanked at the moment. I'm just going to have to deal with that. It's only 2 shares, but I'm just going to have to deal with it, and the dividend's gone. And then stateside we have Southwest Airlines, who I believe are probably in one of the better shapes actually. When we actually get into the analysis you'll see why further in the video. And then we have Delta Airlines as well, and Delta Airlines is also in pretty decent shape, but it's more famous because of just who is invested in it. Now you will have to have been living under a rock to not know who's invested in it, but I will tell you right now that is Warren Buffett, our master of investing basically. He is a significant shareholder in that company and he's got faith in them, and because he's got faith in them, a lot of other people will have faith in them too. And yeah, so we're going to actually get on into the analysis right now, but just a quick plug: if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. If this video brings you value, hit the like button. Let's get this out there. Let's feel free to share it on social media and get out as much as we can and help as many people. And this is just some information for you. This isn't financial advice, it's just information for you to make your own decisions on whether airline stocks are a good thing to buy right now, whether you're sitting on the fence, or whether you're absolutely like no, absolutely definitely not. And with that being said, let's get into the video. Catch you in a bit. What's going on, Dividend Chasers? Thank you for joining me in the next part of this video. As you can see here, I've got the airlines that are of most interest to me on my watch list here. I'm going to give you a quick rundown through the favourite ones that have been most affected by this health crisis based recession. As you can see, the US stock market has just opened here, and you can see that Delta has taken a absolute nosedive right there on open. And Delta is where I'm going to start this video. So its ticker is DAL. Had a market cap of 18.35 billion. Its yield was a healthy 3% before it got cut because of taking state aid. This was a prerequisite to taking aid. They had to do this if they wanted the aid. The revenue here was 47 billion. EPS was 7.3 per share, and it currently is trading at 25, which is a new low. Actually, I had down in my notes $26, but it's hit a new low here. So currently trading at 25. It was 28 this morning, and its original price has been anything up to $62 originally. So there is some upside here to this company when this crisis does blow over, but there are significant headwinds ahead. And its total revenue over the last year has been, net income wise, was 4.7 billion. Now, this company is quite a strong airline, as you might have seen. It's one of the biggest in the United States. It is actually majorly owned by Warren Buffett through Berkshire Hathaway, his investing business. Warren Buffett is the headline, almost a celebrity master investor that we know of, and he's backed this airline and has stayed with this airline even though it has now cut its dividends. It should recover post-crisis, as with most airlines, but I do expect there to be some casualties along the way, and for the dividend to come back, obviously the airline's going to have to pay back its loan first before it can start rewarding shareholders again with a dividend. So that is something to bear in mind. That was Delta Airlines. Next up we have Lufthansa. I actually own a couple of shares in Lufthansa, bought well before this crisis point at €15 a share, and I actually thought that wasn't a bad price to get, considering that they'd been up at €30 before. Anyway, I didn't know that this was coming, and that is the way it is sometimes. Their ticker is Deutsche Lufthansa, and their ticker is LHA. They have a market cap of 4.15 billion, a yield well clear of 10%. Before this was cut, they've now had to ask the German government or the European Union for state aid, and much like the United States, this will come at the cost of buying their own shares back and giving dividends to customers. Have a total revenue of 36.4 billion, earnings per share of €3.20. It is a new market low today at the moment of €8.10 per share, all the way up to, as you saw in a previous slide, all the way up to €30 per share at one time. And their total income was, net income was 1.2 billion. As you can see, I own 2 shares there, bought quite a while ago. I'm currently down 44% on them, so don't really want to talk about that much, but it is what it is, and I'm happy to hold them in the short term. I'm definitely happy to hold them for the short term, but I'm happy to play the long game with this one. I've got no choice now. This was a very healthy airline before all this happened. They had a significant amount of cash flow. Their revenue is high. The net income isn't as brilliant. They're only 3.3% in the profit margin, but they did have plenty of cash flow involved and cash on hand, but they are going to need some state help to get through this, much like any other airline, and this could either come from the German government or the European Union. Next up we have Southwest Airlines. Now these are another huge airline in the United States. The ticker is LUV, a market cap of 18.16 billion. Their yield is still currently 2%. This is the only airline at the moment that hasn't cut its dividend and hasn't taken on state aid yet. It might become relevant and important for them to do so, but they haven't decided to just yet, and that is because I read an article on Investopia that they had well over $3 billion in cash on hand. So they've got more than enough money to sit on and let this crisis pass without them needing state aid. So they could still potentially provide their shareholders with a dividend, keeping the stock price slightly more floated, and and not needing the aid, so that'll give them an advantage in the long term. So as we were saying, yep, their revenue was $22.43 billion. EPS was $4.21 per share. They are trading today at $34 a share. They have been up at $58 in the last year or so, and they've been down at $31 is their all-time low at the moment, with a net income of $2.3 billion. It has the most cash on hand out of any airline really that I've looked into. It could still cut its dividend if for whatever reason it decides that it needs the state aid. I don't think that's too likely at the moment, but it could happen. So it's just worth bearing in mind. There is an inherent amount of risk with all these airlines at the moment, but you just need to bear that in mind, that this one still is paying its dividends for now, unlike all the others which have cut theirs. And then last but not least, we have IAG, who are the owners of British Airways and Aer Lingus, amongst others, including Iberia and Vueling. This company is listed on the UK Stock Exchange. Ticker is IAG. They have a market cap of 3.99 billion, and the yield still says it's 20% here. I'm not sure how long that will last. I'm pretty sure they've already asked for aid off the UK government, so I believe that dividend will get cut as a precursor to them actually getting aid. So I wouldn't breathe too much into that at the moment. Got a revenue of £22.69 billion, EPS of £1.05 per share, and trading today at £2.03, but has been up at £6.60 is its highest. £6.70 is its highest in the last year or so. We're currently operating at market lows, as is the case with most airlines at the moment, and they have a revenue of a net income of 1.72 billion. So they've yet to receive any state aid at the moment. It has to be said, it's not been thoroughly confirmed by the UK government or the EU. So because they own British Airways, excuse me a second, because they own British Airways, it says for a third time, but they also own Aer Lingus, which is an Irish national airline, and then there's Iberia, which is Spanish. This airline could apply to one of three countries for assistance, or all three, or could also apply to the EU for funding, but that dividend will definitely get cut as part of that prerequisite, as we've already mentioned. So that about wraps this video up for today. Them are the four airlines I'm looking into. I've tried to go for American Airlines, as well as not the company, but some USA airlines, a European one, and then a British or British listed airlines, to get like a breadth across the world. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will catch you on the other side. What's going on, guys? Thank you very much for sticking around until the end of the video and having the endurance to do so. Not that many people will do that. Just want to say I really appreciate you watching. Please, if you've stayed this long, please absolutely hit the subscribe button and hit the like button if you really give it this video that much watch time. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And I will catch you around in the next video. Please stay tuned for my other stock tips and all sorts like that, and also my free trade and trading 212 portfolio updates. Catch you in the near future, guys. Goodbye.